How's it going, everybody? So today we are working on this Cowboy chef's knife right here. We're going to be attaching the handle to it. Now, we're already at a point right now to where I'm going to be drilling through this with a 3/16 drill bit. I've marked out a few lines on here. What I did was I figured out exactly what I wanted my center to be on this piece of antler. Now, I could have just left the antler how it was and been simple with it, but I don't want to do that. I want to remove a little bit of material here to make sure the back side is nice and even. I'm going to be profiling it a little bit going down through here, but first I want to drill the hole, get it onto the tang, and then kind of figure out exactly what I want to mess with. But I know for right now I want the bit to go straight down the center here. We're going to be taking out all the material in this rectangle, material in that rectangle. We're going to be drilling through just over halfway with this drill bit. We're going to flip it, we're going to drill over the rest of the way, and then we're going to open up the holes, and then we're going to get the tang put in here, and then I can kind of mark out where exactly I want the profile to be adjusted from there. But right now, let's go ahead and drill through this, try and make sure we stay straight on there, and go from there. Can't really see that, but it's all the way through now. Now we just need to open it up, which is, we need to open it up. It's real easy on antler because the pith that's inside here is pretty easy to drill through. But now we're just going to go ahead and open up these holes and try and get it to where we can actually feed that tang through there. Man, I can almost leave it like that. Just profile a little bit more here, bring that bone all the way up to the handle there, or the blade there, and call it done. Just put a cap on the back, paint it over, but we're gonna do more than that. So let's go ahead, mark out where I want to profile this a little bit, and then make the handle look good, and then we'll start working on those caps. That looks awesome. So one of the things that I did off camera here was I went ahead and marked out my pieces that are going to end up going between the ricasso and the front of the handle there, and of course be sandwiched on the back of the handle with the peened over tang, because again, this is a through tang, so this tang is going to extend past the actual handle. What I did here was I marked the 2 pieces of nickel silver. This, of course, is going to be the front one. It's going to go up closer to the ricasso. That's the back one. And what's going to happen is these 2 are going to be the first one that touches this. And then the copper is going to be in front of that, and that copper is going to touch the ricasso. Now, what I ended up doing, I marked them out for where I needed to drill them, punched myself some little, guide spots right there to make it to where the drill bit centers real easily. And the cool thing is these 2, the 2 silver ones, are going to be hidden by those 2 copper ones. So pretty much I just need to drill these, get them to where they fit on there, but they don't have to be like super precise. The copper ones, however, need to be drilled, and then they're going to need to be hand filed to be really precise so that they actually look real good whenever you see them, because you're going to be able to see the front of that copper where it lines up around this ricasso right here. So where it touches everything, it needs to be really nice and tight so you don't have some weird gaps. And the 2 copper ones, those are going to be hammer finished. So we're going to drill all the holes, get everything to where we want them, and then we're going to hammer finish. And because I'm going to be hammer finishing, I'm going to have to come back and file that slot again to make it fit. Because once you start hammering all across the front of this right here, once you start hammering all that, it's going to make everything expand. So that hole is going to get tighter. Everything's going to expand a little bit because you're pushing the material somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. So you'll see that as we start going through, but right now I need to go through and drill all these holes and then start doing some filing and get everything pieced together, and then we can start doing the hammer finish. Now the cool thing is all I got to do is get everything put together. Once it's all put together and on here, I will then get onto the 2x72 and grind out, get it to where the materials are really close to this, and then we'll go through and do a little bit of hand sanding and all that. But love the way the handle's turning out. Talk about a piece of antler that's perfect for a knife right there. That just is absolutely awesome. But let's go ahead, drill these out, get them put on here, and go from there. So we're going to start getting everything glued up here. I've got all my pieces laid out and cleaned in what order they need to go on here. Now of course I'm going to be using a 5-minute epoxy, which actually is perfect for what I'm going to do because we're going to be gluing it on here, and then while it's still curing, while it's still drying, we're going to go ahead and paint over the tang there. And I like the 5-minute because it'll firm up just enough to where things will stop kind of moving a little bit, but it'll be sturdy enough that it's not just going to go everywhere while I'm trying to do that. So we're going to be using it. I've got a little bit of black dye in here just because I prefer to do black dye whenever I'm filling things like this. We're going to do that and get everything where it needs to go. Clean it up as we go. Now everything's already been acetoned and cleaned. I did do some notches in here for the epoxy, even though it's not necessary because we're going to be painting over the tang. It's going to have both the epoxy and a really secure method of holding that handle on. We want to be careful. This is antler. It can crack, so we don't want to go too crazy while we're painting over the tang. Just do what you got to do. So now we go ahead and we can mix everything up. Luckily it's not that warm out, so this stuff won't dry instantly. Now I will tell you this, because I'm using black, if I do have any gaps, they're going to stand out. So I got to make sure we don't have any gaps, make sure everything's nice and even. Kind of forces you to do a really good job. Alright guys, let's go ahead and wrap this Shop Talk Tuesday up here with a close-up of the knife and a little bit of discussion about things that I had to think through when making the knife. Now, for this, I love the overall profile. I'm so happy that the handle works so well with the blade. I like the overall blade profile. I like the brushed finish on the bevels. Of course, our texture from the forge process, and then that awesome antler handle where we were able to keep a lot of the texture from the actual antler on there. And then of course we did our nickel, silver, and copper front cap right there with the hammered texture on it. All that fits nice and tight, flows perfectly into the actual ricasso area. There's no weird transition here. It looks like it's almost a full tang. And then of course our awesome peened over tang right there with our nickel, silver, and copper butt cap. And like I said, this antler just works so well with this knife. Sometimes you just gotta, whenever I originally started out the knife build on this particular project, I had a different profile and everything in my mind. I knew I kind of wanted to make a Cowboy chef's knife because I had a different piece of antler, and I thought, hold on, just wait a minute. And I actually went, of course, to the local pet store, Petco, and found this piece of antler just sitting in one of their little bins. And I thought, that's the one. And I designed the knife based on the antler. And it turned out awesome. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to rethink it a little bit. And I think that this size and profile and everything just works so well. And sometimes you got to design a knife based on the handle. And that's what we did. That's how this came into existence. Now, of course, with this, I knew that I wanted to do a through tang. This is only my second through tang that I've ever done. And the first one was the Sax, like mini sword that we did. And this was the second one, and I think it turned out awesome. Again, I love the way that looks. Now, as I do more of these, I will get, more of a process down. I use like 4 hammers doing this particular one because I think I cut the piece of material just a little bit too long, and which meant I had to forge it down just a little bit more, hammer it down just a little bit more. But in the end, it turned out awesome, and everything turned out super tight up here. So I'm definitely happy with it. And with it being both epoxied plus a through tang with the peened over tang, that handle's not going anywhere. But I love this profile. We did in the last episode the forging of the profile, and then of course finished out the bevels, did all that stuff. I did do my maker's mark off camera. I've got videos that show how I do my maker's marks if you ever want to look at that. But I think it turned out awesome. I'm always interested in what y'all think about that because, of course, it's something a little bit different, and who knows? Maybe y'all like it, maybe y'all don't. Let me know, comment section down below. But guys, that's a wrap on this particular build. I'm excited to use this. It's very sharp. The edge geometry is awesome. So I'll be using it in my kitchen. We'll see how that goes. Guys, that's the end of this one. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there, and I will catch y'all next time.